Hey guys, in this video I'm going to break down how MrBeast with 46.2 million subscribers makes money on YouTube, what strategies he uses for his channel, and at the end I'm going to calculate about how much he will probably earn in 2020. So after watching a few videos by MrBeast, just wondering how he actually gets so many views and so many subscribers, I came up with a few patterns I found that make him so popular. So one thing he's very good at doing is immediately capturing your attention with a hook. In the very beginning of his videos, he shows you exactly what's going to happen, and then he also tells you about the payoff at the end if you watch the video to the very end. For instance, with the video I Survived 24 Hours Straight in Ice, he, at the very beginning, tells you that he's going to live in ice for 24 hours, or at least try to, and if he can't do it, at the end you will see him in syrup and feathers on the side of the road. And if he does survive 24 hours in ice without bailing from the ice house that he has to live in, his friends who did not join him in there will have to be covered in syrup and feathers and stand on the side of the road. This is just one crazy example of how he structures his videos. Another example is he had a hook where he said a select amount of people are going to try and live on a private island that he bought, and the winner at the end who stayed on the island the longest will actually be gifted the private island. So with pretty much every MrBeast video, he has a hook of what's going to happen during the video and why you should care, and then some reason to stay and watch the ending. As far as volume, if you look at his homepage on YouTube, you will notice that he tends to post about one video per week. This gives him a lot of time to put as much into production as possible and kind of give each video a little room to breathe, which some YouTubers believe is the way to go, while others believe it's better to post more often. In fact, in the ice video, he said that he spent $300,000 just on the production of the video. He also tends to do giveaways, which is a very popular way of marketing that can help you get more subscribers. For instance, under some of his videos, he will say something like subscribe for $1 million, and while some people might think he's joking, he's probably going to do a video where he will give that $1 million to somebody, because he's always doing videos like that. He has many videos where he gives away cars, gives away money, gives away anything people can fit in a circle within a store. So not only does he get more subscribers, but he gives away something and then gets more views while filming what he's giving away. It's actually a pretty genius strategy. I also noticed that he tends to post some of these videos on Facebook now, which is another way that you can monetize your videos. You can take the same video or a slightly different version of it and upload it directly to Facebook, where they also now have video monetization. Another thing I did to break down MrBeast and his strategy is to watch a few of his interviews on different podcasts and YouTube channels. One of them was on the H3 podcast, where he broke down a few tips and just answered some different questions about his life. And another one was on Creator Insider, which was another breakdown of kind of how to get more views and how he finally broke through and became famous on YouTube. A few of the tips that he gives for YouTubers trying to build an audience are as follows. One I've kind of already broken down, which is the hook at the beginning of the video. He says that you should tell people why they should watch at the beginning of the video, or else they might just click off right away. He also recommends not to worry too much about the algorithm, and that you should focus on what YouTube wants. If you help YouTube, YouTube will help promote your video. And he explains that what YouTube wants is for people to click on YouTube videos and to watch them for a long time. It's actually pretty simple. So that's why he focuses mostly on click-through rate and average view duration when it comes to his YouTube analytics. He also tends to make longer videos. This has become a trend with PewDiePie, with MrBeast, with a lot of YouTubers that will make videos at least 10 minutes long, because you can have more ads in them and because it increases the potential watch time per video, giving you a better chance to rank in the algorithm. As far as his tips on improving your click-through rate and getting more people to watch the video, he explains that not only do you want to focus on your title and thumbnail, which is what a lot of marketers recommend, you also want to focus on the experience of the video. Did somebody like your last video? If they did, they will probably subscribe and watch your future videos. So if you combine title, a good thumbnail, that make things really intriguing to people who see it on YouTube, and then they know that your last video was really high quality, there's a very, very good chance that they will watch this next video. He also recommends going the extra mile in his videos, which I kind of touched on earlier. He spent $300,000, and he admits that, in his 24 hours in ice video. He puts an insane amount of his money that he makes back into production to keep making better and better videos. As far as editing, he tries not to have any dull moments. You have a hook at the beginning, you have no dull moments where things get boring throughout the middle of the video, and then you have a big payoff at the end that gives people a reason to watch all the way through. He also recommends just stop doing the things that get people to click off of your video. A lot of times you can see the trajectory of your viewership on a video, and sometimes, say, your intro is too long and people click off after the first 10 or 20 seconds. Maybe you should shorten your intro if that's the case. Or if people click off when you get to a certain segment of your video, maybe you should stop doing that. Those are some of the tips that he gives as far as keeping people watching throughout the video and not clicking off too soon. He also recommends not milking a series too hard. Now, some people may not recommend this. Some YouTubers have said that you should focus on what you're best at and give your fans what they ask for, but he's big on trying new things all the time and not doing the same thing over and over. He also recommends spending a lot of time thinking of ideas. He said he spends an hour a day most of the time trying to think of new ideas for videos. He also recommends spending more time per video instead of cranking out a video every day. Now, you see people like Gary Vaynerchuk that might not recommend this. He's big on quantity and using that quantity to figure out how to improve quality. But MrBeast is very big on just focusing on the best possible quality and spending more time throughout the week on one video instead of mass producing videos. Also, as far as click-through rate, he recommends improving your thumbnails to where there's no small writing or things that can't be seen on a small mobile device. He also says you don't need expensive equipment to get started. If you look at some of his earliest videos, he didn't have that, but he spent money as he made it from YouTube. Also, to avoid burnout and to maintain your interest in making YouTube videos and doing it for a living, you should make videos that are actually fun for you to make, no matter what. So for instance, he doesn't just do solo challenges in his videos. He actually does these challenges with his closest group of friends, and it makes it much easier for him to get through these challenges, and it makes it more fun to produce. He also is another example of someone who pretty much burned all bridges and had nowhere else to go except to succeed on YouTube. So some people recommend this. Some people recommend you have a backup plan, but he is not someone who really had one, and he talks about this in some of his interviews. So his motivation was very, very high for figuring out how to get good at YouTube, and that showed itself in one way, as he says, because he spent a lot of time messaging other successful YouTubers until a few of them finally messaged him back and gave him some tips on how to make better videos. Now, as far as how MrBeast makes money, I didn't see a lot of things that he really sold other than merch. And of course, he makes a lot of money from ad revenue from YouTube. He may also make money from Facebook video monetization now, but I'm not entirely sure. So if you look at the bottom of his videos, you'll notice that he has all sorts of merch that you can buy here, that you can buy directly through YouTube. Now, you can't do this with all print-on-demand merch sites, but YouTube does have a place where they have a merchant crowdfunding approved merchandise page, where you can see a list of the ones that they approve for selling merch directly under YouTube videos. So I would recommend you use one of these when it comes to selling merch on YouTube. As far as which merch site he uses, it's not entirely clear because he has everything branded with his own domain names and things like that. And one way that he sells this merch, not only under videos, is through actually wearing it within his videos. So he sells it directly under the description of the video, but he also wears them so you can kind of see how they look when someone's wearing it within the video, which is a very common and effective way to sell merch as a YouTuber. So now, as far as how much MrBeast actually makes, I'm going to start with merch. So it was estimated by Purple Moon that in 2019, MrBeast actually made about $504,210 from just merch alone. He had about 3.3 billion views on YouTube alone in 2019. So he made around 15 cents or so per 1,000 views when it comes to merch sales. That's the thing about merch. It can make you some money, but the conversion rates are usually not very good. You can expect maybe 1 to 5% at the most. Now, as far as how much he's making from ad revenue, in 2020, according to socialblade.com, he's averaging around 10 million or so views per day. Now, if you average out his numbers, it equates to about just under 4 billion views estimated for all of 2020. And if you combine that with the average CPM in the US being $6 to $8, where most of his audience probably resides, I calculated that he would make just under $12 million in YouTube ad revenue in 2020. Now, of course, this is a rough estimate. A lot of people outside of the US will also be watching his videos, so I used the amount of views he was averaging daily from Social Blade and calculated that with a $6 CPM, which is the low end of the US average, because he will also be getting views again from other countries which will have a lower average CPM, even though most of it's probably from the US. So all of these are just rough estimates, but estimated $602,212 in merch revenue I calculated for 2020, and total I calculated that he would make probably somewhere around $12.5 million in estimated revenue between just YouTube and merch revenue. So hopefully this video was interesting to you. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this type of video, and if you'd like me to make a series on breakdowns of different YouTubers, and I'll see you in the next one.